how do you get from like eight, ten, $12,000 a month to 15, $20,000 a month consistently? Well, it's at that point where you kind of need to start hiring some people. But who do you hire? What do they do? How do you onboard them? Like, there's all of these questions that can be hard to find answers to. And so, if you've ever wondered that, whether you're at that point now, whether you hope to get to that point, if you've ever wondered what to do in that situation, you're going to want to listen to this hot seat call with Adam, where we go through the process of kind of how to hire and how to think about hiring. Have a listen. Hope that you enjoy it. Hope that it helps. At the end, I'm going to be back to recommend another episode for you to check out that's going to give you a little bit more detail on this problem. Adam, you're up, man. Real quick, if you can just give me like a quick overview, who you are, what you do, who you serve, and what you want to talk about today.
Sure. Yeah, so I help parents lose up to 20 pounds and have more energy without giving up the foods they love or endless cardio. I am a origin story, I guess, was I was an athletic trainer before this. So I worked at a Division III college, working in sports medicine, primarily around rehab and injury prevention, and then a little strength and conditioning as well. Got into the OTM last September around this time. So I'm about a year in, have had really good success with the program, continuing to see linear growth, month after month. Each launch gets a little bit better. So yeah, I'm pretty pumped about that. Not really sure what I want to talk about today. Kind of open to ideas on what's next. Like I said, I'm very happy with the progress my business have made, but I want to go to the next level.
Cool. When you say the next level, talk to me about what that means to you.
Yeah, no, good question. I think this time last year, whenever I was having those conversations, my goal was to get to 10K months. I'm there consistently, so I'm pumped about that. I've hit a couple 15Ks, which is great, but I would like to see that consistently, right? So 20, 25, just continuing to grow.
Yeah.
I honestly I don't know if I'm motivated by money at this point. My family's financially good, like we're not struggling by any means. So it's not that I necessarily want to make more money, but I do like the freedom that money brings. I like the
Sure.
opportunity that money brings, that kind of stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's let's get into that a little bit because I think that that'll dictate the path. Um, in terms of like your day to day, I mean, map out what an ideal day for you looks like with you, with your family.
Yeah. I honestly, I think it looks like it does now. Like I said, my previous job was the exact opposite of what I wanted my day to be. As an athletic trainer, you're literally, it's nights and weekends, right? So whenever the coaches have practice, you have to be there. So I had no control over my schedule. So if a coach wants to practice at midnight, that was my job to be there and be responsible for that. So,
Because you worked
nights and
for the college,
weekends,
right?
I worked for the college. Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
So my schedule was nothing that I wanted it to be. So when I got into this role, that was part of the motivation, right? Is to be able to dictate my structure. So yeah, I mean, a perfect day to me is waking up, taking my son to school, and then I'm probably doing some busy work, right? So some type of structured, 90-minute time block of structured work. I usually have an hour to 2 hour time block in the middle of the day to go to the gym, hit the sauna, do what I want to do for mental health. And then I work the rest of the afternoon until probably about 4 or 5. And that's like kind of the end of my structured day.
Okay.
And if I have obligations or stuff going on with the family, I can do that. And if not, and we're just hanging out at the house, I'm probably doing some type of work and continuing to just kind of push the business forward.
I got two questions. Neither one is more of a priority than the other, but I'm going to lead with one and then I'll ask you the second afterwards. Um, we're all worried about something, whether it's a legitimate worry or not a legitimate worry. I think just the human brain is always going to make us worry about something. So what are you worried about?
Yeah, no, it's a good question. Twofold. One, worried about actually surpassing my capacity to coach, right? So I do think at some point in the next launch or two, I think I'm going to accumulate enough clients where I should probably start to hire another coach to help me.
Okay.
So I'm working a little bit about that, and then just leads, right? I've only been doing this for a year, and all of my leads are from my pond, my fish pond, my friends and family, like no trust, right? Which I get, and I understand that and want to continue to build that. But I guess my worry is just kind of running out of the fish in the pond.
Okay. I'm going to come back to those.
Mhm.
I wrote that stuff down, so I'm going to come back to it. The second question is there anything outside of this coaching business that really fills you up? Like for me, for example, it's writing. And so the way that I've structured my schedule is I have 3 fully open days each week, Monday, Thursdays, and Fridays, where all I do is read and write. And that's not like a profit maximization exercise. That's just me saying, after a lot of years, like it doesn't come right away. It's just me saying, like, this is how I want to spend my time. Is exploring this side of me. Right? Is there anything like that with you? Could be anything.
Yeah. From a hobbies perspective, I would say outdoors. Love to snowboard. Love to surf, wakeboard, that kind of stuff. So I love those opportunities. So that first passion is outdoors, mountains, stuff like that. To kind of maybe mimic a little bit more of your mindset, I would probably say creating and kind of pushing the business a little bit further, right? And just being that creative mindset. Whereas like I feel like, especially when I'm busy and I'm structured, I'm coaching, like all of my responsibilities are around that. And I don't have that opportunity to kind of, like you're saying, to do other things outside of just the coaching.
Okay. Tell me about the outdoor stuff a little bit more. Do you live somewhere where you can like walk out the front door and do those activities, or do you have to fly or drive a while to get to it?
So I live in Pennsylvania. It's in the States. So yeah, I do live close to outdoor recreation. It's not the best that I would enjoy. So I like to go out west a lot. So Colorado, those types of places.
What stops you from going out there more? Is it family?
A little bit of family, but just resources. Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
finance. It's expensive to fly right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Okay. Anything else that's been brought up by my questions that we didn't really talk about before we start diving deep into some of this stuff?
No, I don't think so.
Cool. I mean, it sounds to me straight up that you need to hire somebody now, or at least start that process. And I mean, I think you should genuinely hire a coach before you're like bursting at the seams. It will take you a little bit of time, no matter how good we guide you. It will still take you a little bit of time to get comfortable offsetting some responsibility and delegating some of your expertise. That's just it just takes some time to like be okay with that in a weird way. And then once you get okay with it, you're like, oh, maybe I'm not as good as I thought I was, because they like this person more than they liked me anyway. But ask me how I know. But what you will find is that you'll just have more space here and more space to explore. It sounds like there's a real kind of creative side of you that I could hear it in how you speak. Like just how you speak has this, like, I want to hear more of you. I want you to come across more. And it's hard when we're just nose deep in our business for us to just have the energy and the time and the mental capacity to start to do that. And it also takes some time for that to build up as well, which, goes into the kind of existing leads conversation, which I'll talk to you about a little bit as well. But why haven't you brought on somebody else yet? Have you thought about it? Have you tried to do it? Or is it just something that you kind of figured you'd tackle when the time came?
Started the conversations a little bit. Definitely Alex is my success coach. So we've definitely had these conversations. When I was the most overwhelmed was probably back in May after my spring launch, right? Had a really good launch, lots of clients, lots of legacy clients. That's when I started to have that mindset, but then things slowed down a little bit over the summer. Just a little bit naturally through the marketing or the market. And also just, I think I took the foot off the pedal a little bit, just knowing I had a lot of vacations and things going on in the summer, right? So
you also were overwhelmed in May, like you had 50. It says here on your document, right? Like you had 55 clients in May. Like that's way too much for one coach. So I mean, I wasn't there obviously, but my guess is that you also weren't there for each person as much as you would have otherwise been. And so that could have led to some of the slowdown
Yeah.
over the summer
Yeah.
as well.
100%. Yeah. Yep. I didn't feel like I could bring on anymore. So I slowed
Yeah.
things down, right? Wasn't pushing as hard. And so then obviously the summer flattened out a little bit, and I don't need help right now, but I do
Yeah.
forecast, right? Coming, next launch, I would hope to get back up to where I want to be.
Okay. Have you listened to a podcast episode on how to hire?
It's on my playlist.
Okay.
I
I'll give
started.
you, I mean, definitely have a listen to it.
Yep.
And the Obvious Choice podcast, How to Hire. I don't remember the number of the episode offhand, but it's in the last couple of weeks. We put it live, but definitely listen. But I'll give you like a tiny bit of an overview here. Basically, hire your best client is kind of what it comes down to. You can try the mistake that a lot of people make in this game is they say, "Oh, there's no good coaches for me to hire," and like they're not totally wrong. The reason that you're in a position to hire somebody is because you're exceptional. Other people that are also exceptional in all of the ways that you uh, aren't looking generally to be hired by somebody else. And so trying to take in resumes and gauge how good of a programming coach something, what you're really looking for when you're hiring an assistant coach to work with you is you're looking for somebody who is really going to understand your clients, who your clients are really going to connect with. So somebody who's been on the same journey as them is really, really valuable. Somebody who came from where they came from is really valuable. This is why I kind of say like it's kind of a kick in the ego nuts a little bit sometimes when you bring on another coach, because oftentimes your clients will find out that they like that person more than you because that person is more like them than you are in many cases. And you also just want somebody who, I mean, like you, is just conversational, empathetic, listens well, is patient. You already know who meets this. My guess is right now, who comes to mind?
Yeah. I mean, I have a couple, for sure. Yeah.
And it could be people you worked with, right? Could be people in your community. At the beginning, you might oversee all of the programs for everybody. How are you doing the programs now? Are you doing them custom for everybody? Are you working off templates and individualizing?
Yeah. Templates and individualizing. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So then it becomes much more straightforward because you've done that work, which is the smart way to do things. Is a new client comes in, you can basically say to your coach, hey, if they meet these exact guidelines, right, you're good to go with this, individualized this way. If anything is different, bring it to me and we'll discuss it. And then over time, basically, they know how to individualize these things. But they all start with your templates, and then you just have a review process when new clients come in, more often with a new coach, less often with experienced ones. And then as you bring on more coaches, you do them in groups and you build everybody up. But you will find that it's actually a lot less work once you bring on somebody who has already been through. Because if somebody's already been through your program, like you don't need to teach them about your program.
Yep.
Like they've already gone through your employee training. I think, I mean, it sounds to me like that's step one in the domino here.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree. I agree with everything you're saying around the hire somebody that's been through your program, and that's what I've been literally trying to think through and figure that out. I do have some other connections, kind of get your feedback. So again, as an athletic trainer, there are other colleges in the area that have educational programs that I used to be a preceptor for, right? So I would get interns, right? So I have those groups, right? Like where I could maybe hand pick an intern or, somebody, a new grad that, something like that. And I also have some other friends that are in strength and conditioning and run internship programs, and kind of thinking through maybe picking one of those people to bring on. Do you feel like that's not as good as an idea as trying to find somebody that's been through your program?
I'd be very hesitant. I wouldn't give it an absolute no. I'd be pretty hesitant. The people in your program are more well-established, mature adults.
Yeah.
the people who are just coming out of these college programs are not like you're charging a premium for your service. They want to be able to connect intellectually as well to a certain extent, and emotionally to a certain extent. So I'm not saying that that's impossible for you to find that amongst these people who are newer. I think it'd be pretty difficult. I also think these people just need, like these people who are talking about in these programs, probably need to put in the reps like you did.
Yeah.
Like they need to kind of get kicked around the college system perhaps a little bit,
Yeah.
to figure out whether it's right for them or not. I mean, I have a friend who's the head coach of the Toronto Marlies, which is the OHL team for the Toronto Maple Leafs. And I mean, he was one of my workout partners for years, and he got kicked around the athletic strength training world a ton. He became the assistant S&C coach for the Calgary Flames, got this head coach for OHL. He's going to be an NHL strength coach pretty soon. It's not a lot of those jobs. But I mean, this has been like 20, 25 years. But
Yep.
this has been his path. Like he's known that this was his path. He has no interest in anything else. Like, this guy was my workout partner. Like he knows what I do. And he's just not interested in it, which I have a tremendous amount of respect for as well. So I'd be pretty hesitant. I kind of think these people need to
Yeah. I think the
live
point you
life a little bit.
Yeah, no, that's exactly it. The intellectual and emotional just maturity, I don't think would be there. I didn't even think
Yeah,
about that like that a lot. Yeah.
cool. I appreciate you, man. Thank you
Yeah.
so much.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
John, again, thank you so much for listening. Hope that gave you some insight into the problem of what to think about when you're hiring. Now, that was a hot seat call for my high-end mentorship. If you are looking to scale your online fitness business, online nutrition business, please go on Instagram. I'm at It's Coach Goodman. Send me a DM that just says mentor. We'll have a conversation, see if it's right for you and whatever the next steps are. If you're looking for another episode to listen to, I'm going to recommend you check out episode 90. So we were talking about hiring help in this hot seat. Episode 90 is called How to Hire and goes into a lot more detail of how to actually tactically hire people. And so check that out, episode 90, How to Hire. Hope that you enjoy it and hope you're doing well.